Welcome to NASDAQ Trade Talks, where we meet with the top thought leaders and strategists in TradFi, digital assets, technology, and financial planning. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, and joining me at the desk at the NASDAQ market site is Daniel Friedman, co-founder of WMGNA, as well as Caleb Silver, editor-in-chief of Investopedia. We're here to discuss the evolution of financial planning and the catalysts behind change in investment management. Daniel, Caleb, it's great to have you both with us. Welcome back to Trade Talks. Welcome to Trade Talks. Let's talk about this, Daniel. It's not necessarily just technology that's the catalyst behind the change in investment management. It really comes down to the core model around it.
Yes, Jill. The core model around investment management is changing, moving in different directions, and one of the directions that we've been moving in and evolving is subscription-based.
Right. What's the rationale behind that? Is it because different clients have different needs and there's different services that you're providing versus putting this all under one umbrella?
At the core of our subscription is the tax piece of it. And most middle-class millionaires that we work with, maybe liquid 2 to 12 million, get little to no tax planning. And we realized that back in 1995. We'd been working for other people, and came upon this with some thought leaders, some mentors, that offering ongoing tax planning, tax preparation with a CPA for a monthly subscription, and since 1995, that's what we've been doing, bifurcating the investment management.
Okay, so Caleb, it sounds as if financial planning continues to become more nuanced. As investors get smarter, there's more educational tools out there. They're learning more, they're asking for more, our needs are more diverse. So it really sounds like it's more, I don't want to call it life coach, but more like life planning versus financial planning.
Yeah, I like to think of it as holistic planning and holistic investment advice. And I'm the perfect client for my financial planner because I have a lot of needs. I have a small business, I'm a W-2 employee, I have kids in college, insurance, older parents. I use it all. And what it really comes down to, and I steal this from Joe McClain, shout out to Joe, what is the cost of being us today and the cost that it will be for us to be the us we want to be in the future, my wife and I and our family. So that financial planning really takes all that into account. The investment management part of it, it's a little bit more automated, but they keep me from making bad decisions, and that investment management plugs right into the how are we going to get to the us we want to be in the future. That's why I need them to do everything for me. Right.
Well, we were talking about this off camera, Daniel, but you said that one variable we don't know is time.
Yes, absolutely. And to Caleb's point, one of the key components of the financial planning that we do is zeroing in on when would you like to be able to, we call it restyle, the next phase of your life. And we get granular in today's dollars. How much money would you like to have after taxes, spendable per month?
Right. Oh, by the way, we're living longer, too.
Right. And we don't have it running through 90 or 90. We run it as long as it goes. My father will be 88. If he was planning on running out of money at 90, and he's still kicking, things wouldn't be so fun with no money for him. So that also is one of the key components of a holistic financial plan. Right. Cash flow, taxes, multi-generational, family guarantees, the whole nine.
So are you seeing, Caleb, more almost a one-stop shop, if you will, where you can get insurance, tax, estate planning, traditional investment management done all in one place?
Yeah, you can get that, and RIAs are offering that, or they're offering you a partner who works with them on the tax part, on the insurance part. But I like to have it under one umbrella for me, and I think a lot of RIAs may be moving in that direction, or some of the PE firms acquiring some of the RIAs and planning shops. They like to have all of that because that's that recurring cash flow. But in terms of my needs, I really want my advisor and my planners to have that full awareness of my situation, so when we start moving pieces around, they know the domino effect of moving those pieces. They're super good at that, and they bring up things that I never would have thought of on my own. I have 2 daughters. Am I planning on paying for some weddings? Am I planning on burying somebody at some point? How much college do I think I need? How much money do we need to set aside to potentially take care of our parents? Every piece that moves has a reaction down the line, so I like it under one umbrella so I can see the full picture with
Well,
it.
it's good from an estate planning perspective as well, because, you know, God forbid you go before your wife, at least she knows where the bodies are buried, if you will. Sure, there's a better term I could have used than that. But it's all in one place, and I think that's why sometimes people get the deer in the headlights look, because they just don't know where to start sometimes.
Right, and you never want to have that conversation or have to have my wife or even I have that conversation, oh, I don't know, she handled that, or I don't know, he used to handle that. We have one person we can go to, we have one firm we can go to, and I think that's what I think a lot of families are moving towards. Younger people, we survey younger investors all the time about financial planning, what they expect, what if they think they'll need one. You could do a lot of the investing on your own. You could go buy a Vanguard index fund and be fine, but what they do for us is that tax advantage investing, that planning for the future that takes taxes, like Daniel's firm does, into account, because that's the one component you can't get away from, and it has a significant impact on our returns and our plans going forward.
Yeah, and it's just so complex, the tax planning around it. Yeah, I mean, taxes in general.
Taxes in general are complex, though there are some very simple things that most people are not taking advantage of. You know, Judge Learned Hand, the 1934 tax case, you can arrange your affairs in a manner that benefits you. There's not a patriotic duty to do otherwise, but people are, you know, our system isn't that the IRS says, you know what, you missed this deduction, right? It's that you took a deduction that you're not entitled to. And information and technology now, to Caleb's point of knowing where everything is, so I call it the WMGNA app. It's technology we buy from Fidelity. So families can have one place where everything is. There's a vault on there so they can upload their important documents securely. When tax season comes along, it is not this document search for folks. They upload it. We have a service team. We get the package together. We get it off to the CPA.
Right.
CPA then sends the tax return to us. We review it. We send it to the subscriber. And there's already been a tax approximation along the way. So there's no double or triple whammy come April. I owe money. I have a penalty. And now I have to liquidate assets at a bad time.
Right.
To pay that.
And I think that's really, you know, one of the biggest catalysts in terms of advancing the financial planning industry along is the technology that's available. It feels as if it was one of those last places in finance where automation, digitization, and, you know, to your point, using apps, it feels as if technology really was a big catalyst in evolving the space.
Absolutely. When you think about it just from the investing part of it, right? First it was, you know, zero commission trade, so you could do that. Then, you know, the cost of owning ETFs or index funds got a little bit cheaper, but it was the direct indexing really that allows us to invest the way we want to invest along with our beliefs. It's the behavioral part that I need help with, right? I will get too emotional, even though I've been a student of the markets for 30 years, I get too emotional around volatility. I get too emotional around bear markets. But direct indexing, which we use with our planner, that's the Burger King, right, for us. That is, have it your way. We don't want fossil fuels in our portfolio. They help us take it out. We want to make sure that we are aggressive, but not too aggressive for our age. They make sure that we stay inside of our lanes, and also when things get shaky in a bear market, we have a plan with them that pulls us out of the market and puts us back in when things are looking a little bit better. So that just direct part of it, that touch, they handle for me. I would never be able to handle that for myself, and a lot of clients are like that because we have our animal spirits and we'll probably make some mistakes.
Which is interesting because there's always that fear that AI or whatever emerging technology it is going to remove people from these processes, whether it's financial planning or any other industry. It seems as if it's improving operational efficiency and allowing advisors to spend more time with their clients and really, you know, rather than plugging it into a model, they can figure out these nuances and be more empathetic towards investment
Right,
needs.
they can do the work that they are trained to do versus doing a lot of back-end paperwork, right? Too much time on the intake. AI is going to help with that. AI is going to help that productivity part of investment management and financial planning. It's already doing it, so they can do the work they want to do. I think of it like a doctor. Doctors spend most of their time doing the paperwork with insurance. All they want to do is help people and practice medicine. That's the way financial planners, great financial planners and advisors are. They want to do the actual planning work with you to get you to be the you want to be down the road.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? The growth of next-gen advisors has been relatively stagnant, and I wonder if part of that is I don't want to have to come in and do all this paperwork and all the back office work, but now that they know that they can spend time on investing or time with their clients, perhaps that could also be an incentive to get the next gen of advisor into the business.
Yes, the technology, backing off the next gen advisor for a moment, it's companies like Envestnet have made it so smallish, medium-sized RAs like ourselves can provide the services that the Bank of America, Merrill Lynch wirehouses on direct indexing, opening up institutional avenues where 20 years ago you couldn't get that unless you went through. The next gen advisors, I think they are definitely looking to embrace technology. We got involved with a local university, Envestnet Institute there, to promote that piece of it. I think, though, that the mentorship, the personal touch of working with someone like me who's been around a little while, and not necessarily having them go out and cold call.
Right.
So one of my books is Cold Calling is for Idiots, and there's a anyhow. And then using the tech, they're very comfortable doing their investing on their phones and bringing that to, and back to subscriptions. This can all be done through technology where we're sort of sharing, working together. When things get jiggy in the market, then we communicate and say, okay, you know, we have a plan for that. You know, Caleb's got his plan. You know, we've got our plan.
And I think what's interesting too is rather than going to the wirehouse where you only have, you know, a certain set of product that you're able to work with clients. I mean, all we're talking about here is a bespoke and nuanced experience, right? Yeah. So if you're a smaller, more nimble shop, you're able to, you know, design some of these strategies versus having to push one particular product.
Yeah, we have a lot of nuance in our portfolios and in the way we want to plan our lives financially, so they help a lot with that. And yes, if you went to a bigger wirehouse, you might not have that optionality. You might have some of your accounts there. You might be more comfortable because you have, you know, your checking, your savings, and some other accounts, and you want to keep it all there. But working with a financial planner, working with these smaller shops that are more boutique, for people like me, that's been super helpful because I think I know a lot of things. I've been a business journalist for 30 years. I have no idea what I don't know and didn't realize what I really didn't know until I started working with my planner. And then we can get into the nuance of how we want to live our lives from a financial perspective. And again, what that long-term road looks like, they are very helpful with that. And that's why I think that planning, whether you're a young advisor or a planner getting into this, that's where you can really help people. I talk to a lot of young next-gen planners, and they really just want, at their core, want to help people and want to help educate people about their money. And I think that's going to be the future, where they can find that nuanced way to do it, whether it's through a subscription or through a full service model. I think you're going to see a new generation of financial planners and advisors that have the technological skills, but also have that bedside manner that people like me need.
And that's a great segue, because based on the traffic you see on the site, or even just anecdotally with the different conferences that you participate in, are you starting to see the next gen advisor, or, you know, the younger advisors coming to the table?
Most definitely. You see it through, you know, the Financial Planning Association's Next Gen group, but you also see it in these universities, like the University of Georgia has an excellent financial planning and family school there. I know Wisconsin Green Bay has one as well, Texas Tech. Obviously, some of these bigger universities are well known for this, but the kinds of planners and the advisors they're developing have a much more nuanced approach to financial planning because they know it's changed. Given technology, things are a lot easier to access, but also the investing management part of it, that is not as complicated as it used to be. That's the reason we used to go to the guy or the gal. Now we go to them for that full service model in cases like mine.
All right, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me from MarketSite. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at NASDAQ.